Hey Adam, better back it up. We don't have enough road to make it 88.
Roads? Where we're going? We don't need roads.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite time traveler's favorite nerd. Today we are looking at the Hot Toys Back to the Future Delorean from. Let me preface this a bit. I'm here with my best friend Adam Russman. You may know him from our podcast, Nerd Rage Radio, available on iTunes and so forth. And we're here. We're having a couple beers in the Fang, and he's a big gamer, big 40K guy. Check out Beers and Bolters. That's like his shindig over there. He's also my co-host on Nerd Rage Radio, and this is his unit. It's so to speak.
Move
So to speak, you did. It's all right. We can adjust.
Well, I just want to make sure you get the shot of the Forest of Fears in the background.
If you'll notice, if you're a Nerd Rage listener, then you'll be familiar with the Forest of Fears. That's in the background there. and we're here today. This is his DeLorean from Hot Toys, and there's a lot to talk about here. This is a very expensive piece, even for my sensibilities, and I got that $400 Scorponok on the way Mac, but. As you are familiar, Hot Toys makes an expensive product. They make a good product. It's usually not for me, but they do make an expensive product. And this is actually my first Hot Toys review. I think so.
I'm glad to be part of it.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
You should be.
Display don't work.
You should be. So, anyway, without much further ado, I want to get this big, jagged pill out of the way that you have to swallow if you want to be in on this. And that big, jagged pill is that this puppy is $700. So unfortunately, I had to do a few things before I was even able to take a look at this.
Cool, Bobby's here. Hey man, what's going on?
Hey, I was hoping I could come and take a look at the DeLorean.
You can. I just need to do something real quick.
What's that? But I don't usually write anything on my...
Trust me. All right, so have a seat.
Okay.
Just need you to sign a little bit of release form.
Oh, okay, I'll look it over. Right. I should be able to look it over with no problem.
Yeah, there you go. Make sure you initial each page.
But I'm gonna need Robert D to take a look at this.
I already called him, it's all clear.
He said it was all clear?
Yeah.
Subject must not even touch... This is the only way I can look at it.
Yeah. Hey, it's fine. It's all normal stuff. Normal releases. All right, let's go.
I mean, we've been friends for a long time.
It's fine. It's fine. Come on.
But anyway, paperwork's all signed, so we're good to go. We're squared away, and we're insured and covered and all that good stuff. Now, before we get started...
Please don't break my toy.
I'm going to try not to. Before we get started, I want to talk about, like, this. Obviously, it doesn't come in the box this way. It comes in the box in pieces, and I'm going to have Adam talk to you about which pieces come separately that you have to assemble by yourself.
It's actually not that many pieces. It's basically 3 extra pieces to the whole body. And it's like these little, whatever the hell they're called, little doodads, flim flams. And the problem with them is they're all mesh. This is like wire mesh. So it's like very delicate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this little bit, and the snap in there, it's a little bit, finicky. I'm just going to back it up right here. And like the grill piece. So you got to pop all these little units in there, as Uncle Skullface would say, and then get these in here. I did have one mistake, one break. But you won't be able to tell. I know I got some modeling skills, some brag about it, not me. While inputting this cable here, I actually pushed down on it a little too much, and it popped the seam there. Took it out, put some tape around everything, put super glue in there, glued it back down, and it's fine. You couldn't tell.
So what caused it was a break? It was an actual break?
It was just a split right here where I separated the glue.
Let me zoom in.
So right this area, you can see that seam right there. So I just popped that a little bit.
So what happened? Take me through that.
All right. So basically, I was pushing this in like this, and then oh man, just joking. And so I had basically too much lateral pressure, and it made that pop open and split. And that's like the only big issue that I have with this is like these don't. It's like almost like they're too long. They're like all out here in the world.
And we both know that that's another problem that we struggle with day to day.
It's hard.
So
the struggle's real.
Now, as you saw on the intro, which we are both quite proud of and even watched it ourselves, there is a light feature, a light gimmick to it. So show me where that is
All right, so we pop the hood. So you have this little button right here. Let me take this out. It's kind of tacky, but you know.
Oh, you keep it. That's a nice place
They do give you extra stickers for everything.
And you put the one on the...
Yeah, one on the tail, and there's a couple stickers in here that you put on some of the dashboard. And they gave you an extra one, and then I guess you can put this Back to the Future. Oh, that's not, no. They wanted a label for it.
Then it'll look like a ride at an amusement park.
Well, I guess this isn't a sticker, but you know they had a label that you know what it was about.
Because you don't know otherwise.
Yeah, I might be confused. So batteries go in here, 3 AA's.
The screws...
Screws in there.
Okay.
Pain in the ass because it's one of those screws that you have keep in your little drawer next to you.
I gotcha.
And then the button to turn it on, turn it off. And that's it.
Nice.
Wait.
There's more.
Now this is kind of like the most bestest feature.
So this is... What is this?
It's plastic, I think.
This is all plastic.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? Now this is rubber tires.
Oh yeah.
Have you noticed any die-cast parts?
You know, I don't even know. Like the doors kind of feel die-casty. I don't know, man. That's your bag of chips.
Yeah, I'm not the best either. You know, side note, you know why I have a hard time ascertaining whether or not something is die-cast?
What's that?
Because I'm a working man and I have tough fingers.
Is that what it is?
And I'll tell you, my fingers are callous. Like I have less feeling in my fingers. Anyway, so back to the kind of lesson at hand here. Now,
there's a plug in the bottom of it.
Let's talk about that because that's tied into the lights. So
yeah, so I'm gonna try to pick this up and break it, but there's a plug under there. You can just see there's an underneath part, just in case you were curious. It's under there someplace. So I mean, there's definitely washes in the door too, right here.
Oh really?
You see that?
Oh yeah.
The patina.
There's fine. Yeah, it's a fine wash.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get. I wasn't in.
I'm gonna maybe if I move it around a little bit.
It's right there, right along the seam of the door.
It looks like a natural shadow, but it is a wash.
Huh.
So
that's interesting. Now, that light underneath. What are the?
So basically, you can take the batteries out, just plug it in. So if you want it on all the time, and I'm actually when I set this up for display, I'm gonna have it hooked up to a light switch.
So you turn a light switch on, the car comes. That's bad. That's bad.
Just leave that out.
Just leave it out.
I like the authenticity of that whole.
It's keeping it real. Mm-hmm. There's a lack of authenticity with modern day reviews.
I hear you.
So look, we're gonna get a little bit finer in the details. We're gonna talk about the things that light up and all that kind of stuff. But I want to just say this is not my forte. So I'm gonna do the best I can to try to capture everything for you. Just bear with me. I just wanted to let you guys take a look at it because I had access to it. Once you turn it on, we're gonna talk about all the light up features first. How cool is that? I just can't stop doing it. Can't stop doing it. So anyway,
True stories. I like 3 times.
I have. So as you can see, the detailing and stuff and all the logo stuff for the car is all done well. These light up here, and then there's these underneath lights, which you can kind of see the accents of right there and there. They light up.
And the side fenders.
If you turn it to the side, we can show the side fenders, and then we'll get an inside shot. So the side fenders, like the turn signals, they light up there, and then there's brake lights here in the back, which is actually probably a turn signal as well. That lights up on the... Is there a light up on the rear end? Absolutely. So we have reverse lights, turn signals, and brake lights that are all lit up in the back. The out of time, that's just a sticker.
Yeah.
That would have been nice if it was sculpted.
It would have been. I bet you somebody's got it someplace.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then, is any of this lit up here?
No, that's lit up. You do
gizmos.
get the little pull action there.
That's nice. Fill her up.
Yeah. So
I
I guess
guess
if
get
you
a
wanna-
zoom in feature
Like,
on
and
it.
I thought like, well, maybe there's a pole that came in the box to catch the hook that catches it, but I can't find it. So
And all this stuff, like this is just yellow plastic underneath there
that
showing
pops-
through,
that
but
pops
it
out.
does it really?
Yeah.
And that's where you put the petroleum?
Yeah. Is it petroleum?
Is it petroleum?
The,
No, it's not petroleum. What am I talking about?
Yeah. You got some Vaseline?
No, well, look. Beer is a big deal to my buddy Adam, and I'm not a heavy drinker, so he's already got 1.5 in me, and I'm just so to speak, and I'm trying to make my way
there it
with
is.
1.5 in me. Uranium.
Yeah. There it is.
And then this has a red chrome finish. All this stuff here on the side.
And this little thing, easy to get in and to get out.
Is that a quarter turn?
No. I don't know. Maybe it is.
I can't. My fingernails aren't long enough.
I know, dude. It's hard. Here it is. No, not a quarter turn.
Just sits in there.
Just plops in there.
Huh.
But I like that.
Yeah. So then, let me. I'm gonna go handheld. I'm gonna get Spike Lee on them.
Oh, dang.
All this stuff here, that's all a red chrome, and it's not picking it up on camera. Red's a weird color, but it's not picking it up on camera as well. But in real life, it is sharp. Like it's a sharp red. And then all this little wire work like that's a blue and a red wire on there intertwined. That all looks good. There's wire work that runs down the seam of the vehicle here. And you had to plug all that in?
Yeah. Well, no, those were fine. These in the back had to plug in.
Okay. And
I think those in the front.
They're painted. I can't tell if they're painted all the way through, but basically it's two wires that are yellow next to two wires that are blue, and they're all intertwined and they roll through. I just don't know what the other side of them looks like. And then we have blue translucent plastic here. We have tons of wash.
No, that's chrome.
That's chrome.
Yeah, it's blue chrome.
Oh, nice. And then we have a black wash on this cable here. We have all those little small cables down in there are orange with black wash on them as well. And then there's tons of every time I look at it, I see something a little different, but there's little wires and little bits kind of plugged in and randomly put in. It all looks good. And then all this stuff back here has an effect on it. That's a wash along the end, and then I don't even know how they got that worn look in there.
They did a patina on there, which is really neat.
But it looks good.
And even the welding lines, Yeah.
Because it's not it's like it's homemade.
Yeah, it's self-fabricated.
Very cool. Inside of the vehicle, as you can see, there's stuff that lights up. Like we have those lights up there. They're all lit up, and then we have lights in the back.
That's a flux capacitor, Bobby.
I was actually speaking about this one. I was going to get to the flux capacitor.
That's what make time for a possible.
But that's the flux capacitor right there. And I'm going to tell you, the way it blinks and stuff it's really kind of doing it for me. So this stuff here, now this is just a plastic.
Now that's the one thing I was kind of disappointed about
because it's sculpted plastic. It's sculpted plastic to look like leather, but it obviously would have been better.
Now the stick shift is leather wrapped.
No kidding.
You can move it around a little bit. Watch the big digits.
I know.
All right, be careful with the big digits. Don't hurt somebody.
Yeah, it's just side to side. It's
just side to side.
Okay,
it's enough for me.
Yeah. That's good. Now all the tiny detailing stuff you see, there's
the time circuits,
tampered paint, and then there's regular paint up on all the buttons and all that stuff, and all that stuff looks good. Now the other complaint that we both kind of had looking at this is this has this sculpted leather. It would have been nice had this actually been wrapped in a real leather with a worn look. That would have. The doors, do they just open and close regularly?
There's actually some kind of spring in there, but they do.
They're ratcheted.
Yeah.
There's
cool. The fancy word, ratchet.
That's just a tool of the trade that we use. We'll look at the inside of the door there as best we can. And we got the little pull strap for when you're getting in. That's a nice touch. And I guess you can just see it clearer, maybe over there. But there is a tremendous amount of detail, and I don't know if I can do enough to show coverage of all of it. Do the windshield wipers move?
They pop out if you want to replace them.
If you want to replace them?
Yeah, that's what they do.
If they get worn down.
The instructions.
But otherwise, I can't really think of a whole lot more to say. Oh, there's nice sculpted detail in there with the DeLorean.
Mm-hmm. Now this right here was a tight fit to get that all plugged in and everything. It's a marvel of engineering because I was like, man, this isn't gonna work, and I was super stressed out about breaking it too. Another feature I want to show before we get out of here is that the front axle actually turns, so that you can roll the car. I mean, that's one of those things. Now you guys know I'm not a big Hot Toys guy because I'm not a big soft fabric or soft goods kind of collector. But this is a novelty piece to kind of have, and it is well made, and there's little things like that definitely shows an attention to detail and a sense of pride and a sense of love. I feel like a lot of people that do stuff like this really do, really sincerely love what they're doing. I want to show you one more thing that I'm not sure I picked up on, and that's the alarm clock sitting in the dash. That was an extra piece too. You had to pop it in on a peg. That one scared the bejesus out of me.
Is it difficult because of the space that you're?
It's tight space. The little narrow peg that pops in there, but it does add something else to it.
And look at all the dates and stuff.
Yeah, man.
I would imagine that's accurate.
Oh yeah.
Now we're gonna take a look at the other side of it, just to kind of. So that's all painted. Actually, that might just be plastic, and then that chrome piece there is painted on the end. All that has the chrome finish, and then the wiring here, that's wire.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
There's a lot of level, a lot of depth.
This is inside here from the other side.
There's more lights in the back here.
So it's really like there's it's hard to pinpoint anything that's necessarily wrong with it. He's obviously had some issues in assembling it in terms of kind of making sure everything, like he broke a piece and had to repair it and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna ask him, I could do like a little Q&A session for final thoughts, since I don't really. Oh, get Masterpiece Proud. Real quick, just to give you a size comparison, that's Hasbro's MP10 standing next to the DeLorean. He could probably fit in it. He's actually probably too small. You know what I mean? That's the closest we could get it because the calves are too big. But I'm telling you, if you don't dig that in some kind of way, if that doesn't make you feel a certain kind of way, you're not real 80s. You're not a real 80s baby.
It does get much more 80s.
And for my circle, it's pretty much 80s babies.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
So you know what the question everybody asks me is?
What's that?
Does it turn on? First thing they say, they're like,
No kidding.
holy shit, does it turn on? They never think it turns on to the level that it does.
Sounds would have been nice.
Yeah, but what sound would it make?
Even just the car starting and running.
Oh,
Would have been a nice touch.
Yeah.
Now, once again, I'm going to reiterate to the people listening, this is a hard review to do because of the size of this thing and the fact that it's not mine and it's very expensive and I don't want to mess with it too much.
Like
So I'm going to kind
Here's
of...
an iPhone 6.
There's an iPhone 6, another size comparison. And if you like fun antics like this, be sure to check out Nerd Rage Radio. So how did you feel about putting it together?
I was fine with it. Like, I'm a modeler by trade. Now, I'm a modeler anyway, so it wasn't a big issue for me, specifically, to have to plug in a bunch of pieces. They did have some warnings about it, though. Like, be careful. Like, specifically be careful with this, putting that in. The mesh can easily bend and everything. I'm good to go with that. I've seen some other, like, 1/15th scale, because this is a 1/6 scale. And they're cool as well, but there's just something about when I got the box for this thing, and I should probably show you the box. But they were like warning, be careful. There's some pieces, and that's why I actually was going to bring it over to your house.
Correct.
To do it
Initially.
but I was too worried about like any pressure on this that would cause it any damage. But from spending my whole hard-earned money, this is kind of like a birthday present to myself. Other cool thing is like there's things about the vehicle that you never really notice watching the movies, and I've seen the movies 100 times.
Right. No. Sure.
Like the little projector right here, like this thing starts shooting the blue wall.
Yeah.
And you never really know what it looks like until you see that. Like all of this, this cage thing, that's all whatever. However, the science worked for that. And little things like this, like they didn't have to do that, you know. But if I wanted to throw a lightning rod in there, I could.
Right.
Right. Maybe I will.
All right. So let me ask you this, just to kind of wrap this thing up. How do you feel about the paint?
I think it's perfect. How
do you feel about the features?
The only thing that I would want to see is leather seats.
Okay.
I mean that's really it. And like I could have sworn I saw pictures with leather seats. So I don't know if there's a special edition version of this with leather seats, but maybe I'm just thinking of the gear shifter, So that was the first thing I was like, oh, the seats aren't real leather with the seam and they don't look bad. I mean, there's detail to them.
Sure, they're all sculpted to look as such.
Yeah. I used to have a car with seats just like this. They kind of wear and get soggy, and like certain areas they start getting all wrinkly.
I'm aware. Very spiderwebby.
Yeah.
So, okay, how do you feel about the materials? Any parts you wish were different?
No, I think everything's good. I mean, these cables are a little tough, but the other thing too is they're going to retain their shape because how stiff they are.
Yeah, no doubt.
And little things like the reflective piece up in here, you guys may or may not see, and the reflective piece here. There's like little details, like these guys had to have like a real DeLorean that they were
as a reference.
Yeah.
And so materials you're 100% satisfied with.
Yeah.
Paint you're 100% satisfied with.
Yes.
All the features you're 100% satisfied with.
Like,
except for the leather.
Yeah, except for the leather. And you know what? The sound would be good, but you know what? At the same point, like I would set up my lightsabers. I like the sound of lightsabers, but I would set them up and wire them myself. So when I came in my nerd room, I turned them on. They would turn on as well for an accent piece. Sure. But then I don't want to hear the hum all the time. So I'm actually glad that it's off because this is gonna be hooked up to a light switch. So when I turn that light switch in that room on, this comes on. Right. And I might even put this on a mirrored table so you can kind of get like the underside door opening and stuff like that.
All right, so I'm gonna close it out real quick. The thing is that this is a $700 piece. This is not for everybody. I can tell you by putting my hands on it that it is quality and it is well made and there is an extreme attention to detail. I am taken back by it, looking at every little nuance and every little piece of intricacy that's involved with this. I will say this, it's not for me because my collection is very much collection based. Adam's collection is very much high point based. So he has an Optimus Prime. He has now a DeLorean. He wants a Ghostbuster pack. He wants these little symbols of his childhood that he can remember in his basement in a very classy, very adult manner. And I think for those circumstances, this works fantastically. Everything, let me make sure, does the steering wheel move?
It doesn't.
Ooh, I would want a moving steering wheel just because.
Actually, let me make sure. Snap. Oh, it does move.
It does move.
Never mind.
It moves.
I'm an idiot.
So,
it moves the wheels too. Just joking. That'd been over the top.
And the pedals move. No, but so for his purposes, it's really nice, and for people that like those little high checkpoint boxes, like Adam has, like this DeLorean, he has Optimus Prime, he has He-Man, he has these little symbols.
And that's all I want.
Of the era that he grew up in, and I think for that, it's a very sophisticated piece to add to a very established collection. But having said that, this is not the piece to put next to your classics collection.
No.
It's not the piece to put next to your Combiner Wars Menasor. It's a league apart. So I think it depends on what kind of collector you are. I think it depends on what your display area is like, because you have to keep in mind, I mean, that's a human arm. So we're sitting about 28.5 inches across. About a foot wide, maybe 13 inches to be safe. And with the door open, about 13 inches. So this thing requires a lot of real estate. Make sure that you have that real estate available. Make sure that that real estate makes sense for the collection that you have. For Adam's purposes, it makes perfect sense. For my purposes, it probably would work, but there's just a lot of stuff I could get for $700. But that being said...
Can I say something to that?
Sure.
I don't think this would work for your collection.
You don't think so?
I think it'd get lost in your collection.
It might.
And then, like, people couldn't enjoy it as much.
I'm working on that back room, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you, this is definitely I would say a museum quality type piece.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you're a guy that collects a couple statues, maybe a bust here and there, and that's it, I think it would be fill that niche. You think I should get the Marty?
I think you should get the Marty. And if you're going in, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if the Marty's necessary at the same time.
I don't think it is necessary.
But if you're going in on a $700 piece, make sure you have the space, make sure it makes sense, and be very careful of those little pieces while you're assembling it. Otherwise, you could have big problems. Otherwise, make sure to check out Adam and I. We're on iTunes under Nerd Rage Radio. Also, Podbean, Podbay, Stitcher FM, Player FM, and Google Play any moment here.
Give us that 5-star.
Give us that 5-star rating.
Really helps us out.
Really helps us out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.